Hey, my name's Izzy, this is Rolling Virtual Cards, coming at you with another Commander deck build, the month of Atraxa, bum rushing this to get this out. This is energy counters. Let's go over the card by card after going over Atraxa. I've went over it a bunch of times, but this is a green, white, blue, black for a 4/4 legendary creature. Phyrexian Angel Horror with Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink, and at the beginning of your end step, proliferate. Fantastic card. It's got defense, it's got offense, it's got that accidental life gain. Proliferate means you can build any deck around counters or any theme that has counters involved. So if it's a creature type that has counters involved, you can run it. And this time we're doing energy counters. So let's get into it. Just going to change the view for a second. Forgot to do that. Switch to spoilers so it's easier to see them. And we're going to go through card by card. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you might have seen that I've used this tag feature here to separate them by strategies or tags. I can't stand it. I don't go through decks that way normally. I go by types and mana value. I just think it's easier to go over the card by card and just let you know what they're here for. So, if you like it the other way, let me know. If enough people say stuff, maybe I'll go back. But I make these videos for my enjoyment and for other people to enjoy it. So, let's get into it. Birds of Paradise is 1 green for a 0/1 bird with flying, and it taps for any color. It's here for ramp. Greenbelt Rampager is a green for a 3/4. So we're running 26 creatures. It's a heavy creature deck because a lot of the creatures give you energy. So this is 1 green for a 3/4 elephant. When it enters the battlefield, you can pay 2 energy. If you can't, return it to its owner's hand, and you get 1 energy. So this is a 3/4, very big damaging creature for 1 mana. You just need to make sure you have 2 energy to keep it on the field. Otherwise, like turn 1, you can give it energy, and then turn 2, you get another energy, and then by turn 3, you can get it out. Kind of a funny, slow way. And it says pay 2. You don't get a choice if you can't. So like you must pay 2 to keep it. And just to let people know how energy counters work, they're like, unlike other things, I guess like poison counters and stuff, they're on you. The player has them. They cannot be removed in any way with any card so far other than things that make you pay. But they can be proliferated with Atraxa. Thriving Turtle is a blue for a 0/3 turtle. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy counters. And when it attacks, you can pay 2 energy. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on it. I don't know if you can do that infinitely. I think it's just once. But it attacks that 1/1 counters, then you'll be able to infinitely get bigger with Atraxa. So, not bad. Aether Swooper is 1 in a blue for a 1/2 Voldalkin Artificer with flying, and when it enters the battlefield, you get 2 charge counters, and when it attacks, you may pay 2 charge counters and make a 1/1 color surfer artifact creature token. As you can see, you're getting a lot of counters, and then you're just going to make more of these and just use their abilities. Aether Theorists is 1 in a green. Enters the battlefield, you get 3 charge counters, and you can tap it to pay a charge counter, and pay a charge counter to scry 1. Just a nice way to get card advantage. Glint Silver Siphoner is 1 in a black for a 2/1 human rogue with a menace. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you get energy, so that's energy every turn. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you can pay 2 energy. If you do, draw a card and lose a life. Good card draw. Long Tusk Cub is 1 in a green for a 2/2 cat. When it deals combat damage to player, you're going to get 2 energy. And then you can pay 2 and put 1 on counter on. Again, you just need that 1 so that Atraxa can start doing its job. But dealing combat damage to your player with this is going to allow you to get more charge counters, which is nice. Servant of the Conduit is 1 in a green for a 2/2. It enters the battlefield, you get 2 charge counters. And then you can tap it, pay a charge counter to add 1 mana of any color. So it's good ramp. Shielded Aether Thief is 1 in a green, 1 in a blue for 0/4 Voldalkin Rogue with flash. When it blocks, you get energy, and then you can tap it and pay 3 energy to draw a card. It's a 0/4, so you flash it in, block something, get an energy. Just block anything small. And then decent draw, a decent card draw each turn. Architect of the Untamed is 2 in a green for 2/3 Elf Artifice Druid. Whenever a land hits the battlefield under your control, you get an energy, and you can pay, I think, how much energy is that? That is 2, 4, 6, 8. to make a 6/6 colorless beast artifact creature token. Pretty good. You're going to get to that pretty easily, and just being able to pay a lot of energy to get a 6/6 is pretty good. Electrostatic Plumber or Pummeler is 3 generic for a 1/1 construct. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy, and then you can pay 3 energy, and it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is its power. So if you pay 3, it goes to, for 3 energy, you can make a 2/2, and then for 3 more, you can make a 4/4, and then for, that's 6, and then for 9, you can make an 8/8, and then for 12, that's a 16/16, and then after 12, it's, what's next? After 12 is 15. For 15 energy, you can make it a 32/32. So that's probably what you want to get it, and then you can just hit someone for game. Imperial Voyager is 1 green blue for a 2/3 Vodalkin Scout with flying and trample. When it deals combat damage to player, you get that many energies. So it's a 2/3, but if you can make it bigger, you're going to get more instead of just 2. But that is minimum 2 energies each time you hit someone. With flying and trample, you're probably going to hit someone. Rex Cyberhound. We are getting more energy counters from, not legal in this deck because it hasn't been officially released, right? We're going to get more energy counters in Fallout. So this deck is going to have a huge overhaul once those come out. And that is one of the reasons I say take a look at, if you like energies, keep an eye on Fallout. And this deck is just going to change. I might do an update to this deck once the Fallout stuff comes out. But Rex Cyberhound is 1 white, blue, here's my kitty cat. For a 2/2 legendary creature, robot dog, whenever Rex Cyberhound deals combat damage to a player, they mill 2 cards, and you get 2 energy. Okay? Well, it's going to be hard to deal damage as a 2/2 with no evasion, but you can pay 2, choose target creature card in a graveyard, exile it with a brain counter on it, activate only as a sorcery. Rex has all activated abilities of all cards in exile with a brain counter on it. So as a commander, Rex is going to be cool. I'm going to love it. But as a card here, people will kill it probably, but the brain counter stays. So as long as you can get it back, you can keep using it. And what's nice is it has all these energy counters. It's a 2/2. Well, and now it has this one, so it can get bigger. And now it has a way to just draw cards or make a 6/6. This card is fantastic in this deck. Such a good piece. And it gives you a way to give you more counters. And since you're milling your opponents when you hit them, you can exile, though. You can use the 2 to exile the cards with the brain counters from their graveyard, because it's choose a creature from a graveyard. So Rogue Refiner's 1 green blue for a 3/2 human rogue. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, and you get 2 energy. Aether Swarm Rock is 2/2 blue, 2/2 white for a 3/3 bird with flying. And when it or another creature enters the battlefield, you get energy. So this is going to be a lot of energy constantly. Works with tokens. And when it attacks, you can pay 2 energy. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on it, and tap up to 1 target creature defending player controls, allowing you to get an easier. And yeah, let's put a 1/1 counter on it, and then we can start getting it really big with Atraxa. Beast Whisperer is going to draw you a card whenever you cast a creature spell. Bristling Hydra is going to enter with giving you 3 energies, and you can pay 3 energies to put a 1/1 counter on it and give it hexproof, which is great protection, and it's going to get really big and scary. Pima, Ether Seer, is 3 and a green for a 3/2 elf druid, and when it enters the battlefield, you gain an amount of green energy counters equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. Normally, this would probably just be 4 with Atraxa, but like Bristling Hydra could be really big, or hey, Electra's Pummeler. If you make it 32, you can then cast Pima, because remember, this doesn't cost money, it just costs energy. So you go from like 15 all the way up to 32 with Pima. That's pretty cool. I like that interaction. Solemn's going to enter the battlefield and grab you a land onto the battlefield tapped, and then when it dies, you draw a card. Toski, Bearer of Secret's going to can't be countered, has indestructible, attacks you each turn of each combat of Fable, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to player, you're going to draw a card. Multiform Wanderer is 5 for a 3/3 construct, and when it enters the battlefield, you're going to get 3 energy. You can pay an energy, and it gains your choice of flying, vigilance, lifelink until end of turn. Usually flying, so you can just hit them. But you can also pay an energy, and it gets +2 -2 or -2 +2. So if you pay an energy, you can make it a 5/1 with flying, so you can hit them. You can pay another energy to make it a 5. You can pay 3 energy to make it a 5/1 with flying and lifelink, so you gain life. And then if you give it vigilance, you can then switch it to become a 1/5 to block something. Very offensive and defensive. I like the card. I like the construct concept too. Like, it's multifunctional. Orin Frostfang, attacking creatures you control have death touch, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Just classic. Giving your stuff death touch makes it much harder for them to kill, much harder for them to die, because people don't want to block it because they know they'll lose their creature. Aethertide Whale, I love this. 4 and 2 green, 2 blue for a 6/4 whale. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 for 6 energy counters. Oh, it says 6 energy counters. Thank you. You get 6 energy counters, and you can pay 4 to return Aethertide Whale to its owner's hand. Why would you do that? Number one, it's harder to kill it, but also you're net gaining 2 energy. So as long as you've got nothing to do, you can attack with it and you can return it and then recast it. So you have a 6/4 blocker and you gain more energy that way. Yeah. Demon of Dark Schemes is 3 and 3 black for a 5/5 demon with flying. And when it enters the battlefield, all other creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever another creature dies, you get an energy counter. Then 2 and a black, you can pay 4 energy to put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control tapped. This is great ways to get the best creature from someone's graveyard to your field. Recur any of your stuff that might have died that you really want back. Stuff like getting your Rex back, getting Beast Whisperers back, Bristle Hydra. And if you get back something like Bristle Hydra or get back Aether Whale for 4 mana, and oh boom, look, it comes back with 6, and you get 6 energy, and you can pay 3 more mana and do it again. Grab something else. Very useful, very good 5/5 flyer, just hitting people for damage. A key card. Plus, when it hits the field, you're going to wipe a lot of creatures, and that's going to give you a lot of energy. Aether Squall Ancient is 5 and 2 blue for a 6/6 Leviathan with flying. And at the beginning of upkeep, you get 3 energy counters. And then for 2, 4, 6, 8 energy, return all other creatures to their owner's hands. Activate only anytime you cast a sorcery. So for 6, you can just go return everything and then swing in. And remind you, sure, you return everything, but all these things are going to enter with more, giving you more energy counters. And then Aether Breath, Aetherwind Baskar is 4 and 3 green, so another 7 for a 7/7 Ledger with a trample. And when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you get an energy counter for each creature you control. So when it hits the field, you got 5 creatures, you're getting 5 energies. It attacks, you're going to get 5 more, and you can pay an energy to give it +1/+1 until end of turn. And it has trample. So it attacks. If you got 5 creatures, and you already got 5 last time, you could make this guy like a 17/17. You could probably get this guy up to the 40s plus and just one-shot someone with it in this deck. Let's go over the sorceries. We're only running 7. I don't like running a lot of sorceries because they're slow. They're not very interactive, but these ones are good. Attune the Ether is green for a sorcery. Search the library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. And then you're going to shuffle your library and get 2 energy. That 2 energy is great on turn 1, and then just making sure you have the right color of land in a 4-color deck isn't bad. Farseek is going to be ramp. It's 2-drop. You're going to grab a Plains, Island, or Swamp and put it on the battlefield tapped. You can grab non-basics. I run cheap lands. Rampant Growth is 1 and a green, and you're going to just grab a basic land and put it on the battlefield tapped. Cultivate and Kodama's Reach do the same thing. You're going to search your library for 2 basic lands, 1 onto the battlefield tapped, 1 into your hand. I love using these cards when I don't have a land in hand. I'm going to clarify that. It's good regardless, but if you're like, oh, I don't have a land drop today, this turn, paying 3 to get a land on the field, and then that land you get is that land you play, I feel is just so much better. It's just not a waste. You know you're going to get that extra land this turn. Live Fast is 2 and a black for sorcery. You draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, gain 2 energy. Just a simple draw, a black draw card that also works with energy. And then Confiscation Coup. 3 and 2 black, or 3 and 2 green for 3 and 2 blue, thank you very much, for a sorcery. Choose target artifact or creature. You get 4 energy counters. Then you may pay an amount of energy equal to that permanent's converted mana cost. If you do, gain control to it. So you can just pay 5 to get 4 energy, but if you have the energy, you can steal something your opponent has that's pretty good. I like using this to steal, like, Eldrazi's or big dinosaurs. Instances, 8 instances, which is one more than sorceries, but this is your interactive spells, guys. Path of Exile is a white for an instant. You're going to exile a creature, and then you're going to give them a basic land. Swords, you're going to exile a creature, and then they're going to gain life. You can target your own creatures with this stuff. So you can pop a token for 1, grab a basic land out of the battlefield, tapped. You can pop a big creature and gain a lot of life. If someone's going to kill you and your creature was tapped, you can go, actually, I'm going to exile my 10/10 and gain 10 life. To show you something fun, this effect here isn't on your turn. And it's instant. So you could have like 10 energy, boom, make it a 17, and then swords it and gain 17 life. So use it to block someone, and then before damage is resolved, it's dead. You still deal the damage. I think. I don't remember. Even so, if it's like been tapped, you can pop it. Counterspell, 2 blue to just counter target spell. Always useful. Great for both stopping your opponents from winning and protecting your stuff. Heroic Intervention, permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible in a turn. Stops them from popping your individual things and from board wipes. Negate, counter target, non-creature spell. Again, these are here. These counter spells are here to stop your opponent from interacting with you. You're using them sometimes to stop your opponents from winning, but most of the time to protect Atraxa. Beast Within and Generous Gift do the same thing. They're 2 in a green or white, respectively. You destroy a permanent, they get a 3/3, either beast or elephant. And then Glimmer of Genius is 3 in a blue for an instant. Scry 2, draw 2, you get 2 energy. It's 1 extra over live fast, but you don't lose the life. You get to scry, and it's an instant. So it's better, but it's 1 mana more. Artifacts. This is where a lot of ramps are going to be and a lot of cool energy cards. Wayfarer's Bauble is 1 for an artifact. You can pay 2 and tap it, sack it, grab a basic land over the battlefield tapped. Arcane Signet's going to tap for any color and costs 2. Decoction module. 2 generic for an artifact, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get an energy. And then for 4, you can return target creature you control to its owner's hand. This is multifunctional. Not only do you get a lot of energy for your creatures into the battlefield, but all those creatures that enter the battlefield and get you energy, you can bounce this guy back and recast them. Fellware Stone is 2 for an artifact that just taps for any color your opponents can produce. Sorry for the cars going by. It's really hot in here, so I got my window down. If it's annoying, let me know in the comments, and I'll shut my window more often. I'll probably do that in most of my videos, though. It's just really hot in here. Glassblower's Puzzle Knot is 2 for an artifact. It enters the battlefield. You get to scry 2 and then gain 2 energy. And then 2 in a blue, you can sacrifice it, scry 2, gain 2 energy. So, just a good way to gain energy and a good way to scry. Lightning Greaves and Swifter Boots are both here to protect your commander for the most part. Not only does it give it haste so they can hit fast, Greaves gives it Shroud so it can't be targeted by anyone, and then Boots gives it Hexproof so that it can't be targeted by your opponents. Very useful way to just not let Atraxa die. Aether Sphere Harvester is 3 for a 3/5 artifact vehicle with flying, and when it enters the battlefield you get 2 energy, and you can pay an energy to give it lifelink until end of turn, and then you can crew it for 1. Not bad. 3/5 with lifelink isn't bad. Commander Sphere is 3 for an artifact that taps for any color, and then you can sacrifice it to draw a card. Consult Turret is 3 generic for an artifact. You can tap it to gain energy, and then you can tap it and pay 3 energy to deal 2 damage to target player. It's not the best, but it's something. I usually just tap it to gain energy each turn. Deadlock Trap looks really cool. I love the steampunk look of Chandra and Nissa in here. But 3 generic for an artifact. Deadlock Trap enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy, and you can tap it, pay an energy, target creature or planeswalker, or tap target creature or planeswalker. Its active abilities cannot be activated this turn. Great way to either get into your opponent and hit them, or just stop them from using a planeswalker that's scary. Don't forget, do it at their upkeep or their draw step so they can't activate the effect. Din of Vault Tower is 3 generic for an artifact. Whenever you cast an enter a sorcery spell, you get 2 energy, and then you can pay 5 energy and deal 3 damage to target creature or player. That's good removal. I guess you could use it to just finish off an opponent that thinks they're getting somewhere with low life. One of those guys playing a black deck that's like, oh yeah, I'm at 3 life. Die. But also the instance and sorcery part's great. Fabricate module is 3 generic for an artifact. Whenever you get 1 or more energy counters, you put a 1/1 counter on target creature control. This just breaks the game wide open for Atraxa. Absolutely fantastic. So that I can just get a lot of 1/1 counters on my creatures. And then just have them get bigger with Atraxa. And then for 4, you can tap it and get an energy. Aetherworks Marvel is the most busted artifact to do with energy ever. But for 4 generic, you get a legendary artifact. Whenever a permanent you control is put into your graveyard, you get an energy, and then you can tap it and pay 2 for 6. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may cast a card from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest in the bottom of the library in a random order. This is just mana cheating at its finest. I love it. Get something good out, just stop them from winning. Or get something good out and win, or stop them from winning. Yeah, and you cast the card, so lots of stuff goes well with that. Bident of Thassa's 2/2 blue for a legendary enchantment artifact. It enters the battle, or whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. And for 1 in a blue, tap it. Creatures your opponents control attack this turn if able. This is really useful to get them wide open so that you can hit them back and win. Gonti's Aetherheart is 6 generic for a legendary artifact. When it or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you get 2 energy. Right there is great. And then you can pay 2 for 8 energy, exile it, and take an extra turn after this one. So that's really good if you know you're going to win the next turn. Otherwise, I mean, you just get a lot of energy counters for it, dude. Like, half your deck is an artifact, or artifacts. So just, like, I'm not sacking it unless I know the next turn I win. Or the next turn my opponent's going to win in this rotation. So I like it in this deck. And then the Great Hinge is 7 and 2 green for a legendary artifact. It costs X less, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So 4 less with your commander out on the field means instead of 9, you're paying 3 and 2 green, so just 5. And then you can tap it to add 2 green and gain 2 life. And whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you put a 1/1 counter on it and draw a card. This card's expensive, please proxy it. But the main thing here is that 1/1 counters on it is so strong. It's really just going to let you keep proliferating them and get really big creatures. Whew. Okay, enchantments now. Gonti's Machinations. A black for an enchantment. Whenever you lose life for the first time each turn, you get an energy. Pay 2 energy, sacrifice it. Each opponent loses 3 life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. So this is interesting. Lose life each turn basically means if your opponents hit you. In this deck, it basically means if an opponent hits you, you're going to lose life and you're going to get an energy. It is also kind of just an emergency don't die button. Someone's going for game on you. Pay 2, sacrifice it. Each opponent loses 3 life, so they're gonna lose 15 total, and you're gonna gain 15, so you don't die. I always talk about incidental life gain in decks. It's very good casually to just make sure you don't die. Once you get to high tier and CEDH, where people are winning not by combat but by just I win the game cards or other infinites, it's not as good, but casually it is. Even intermediate. Era of Invention is 1 in a blue for an enchantment. When an artifact or artificer enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 generic. If you do, get 2 energy. And you can pay 6 energy, sacrifice Era of Invention, draw 3 cards. Great draw card. Great way to just keep it on the field and keep getting stuff. And then, like, if you need the draw, use it. Coastal Piracy, 2 and 2 blue enchantment. When a creature you control deals combat damage to opponent, you may draw a card. These cards are really, really good in any creature-based blue deck, but in Atraxa, you've got a flyer. Any blue deck whose commander's got a flyer, you're at least drawing 1 card off of it, which is good enough for 4, because it's multiple turns worth of it. A Consult Surveillance is 3 and a white for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 4 energy, and you can pay 2 energy to prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn by a source of your choice. This is just another great way to stop dying. Oh, I'm going to deal 5 damage to you. That's going to kill me? No. Oh, I'm swinging my 10-10 at you. Cool, I'm not blocking. I'm just going to remove 2 energy. I'm just going to spend 2 energy to not die. That's not nice, I know. Guardian Project. This is 3 and a green for a complicated worded card that just means draw a card whenever a creature enters the battlefield. But when a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have the same name as another creature you control or a creature in your graveyard, draw a card. So unless you're running Persistent Partitioners or any of the other pack, I think it's Pack Rat, other like decks that say you can run as many as you want, it doesn't matter. Like, you're just going to be drawing a card off ETBs. We win a reconnaissance mission is 2 and 2 blue. Does the same thing as Coastal Piracy. So when a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card, but then you can cycle it for 2 if needed. And Smothering Tithe. 3 and a white for an enchantment. When an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2 generic. If that player doesn't, you get a colorless treasure to artifact token with tap, sacrifices artifact, add 1 mana of any color. I don't run this in every deck. Definitely proxy. It's like $25. If it's over 10, I proxy it. I suggest proxying it. If you build decks that way. I'll explain how I build decks in a video one day. In real life, not here. Not online. But the reason it's here is because artifacts. You have plenty of things that trigger off artifacts. When an artifact into the battlefield, this is an artifact. And then it's ramp, so pretty useful. Lands. We'll go over the unique lands here. Aether Hub, enter the battlefield, you get an energy. You can tap for a colorless, or you can tap it to add. You can tap it and pay energy to add 1 mana of any color. There, that's the interesting one. The rest are all just your lands that I'm running in every single like deck for Atraxa. They're all just cheap lands. I like running cheap lands. I don't like to spend money on them. But that's the deck. If I was going to explain why you would want to run Atraxa with energy counters, number 1, if you're excited for Fallout and you're like, dude, we're getting more energy counters, let's see what we can do with it. You're not going to find an energy counter guy that, like, you can run 5 color. But there's no 5 color that cares about proliferating. This one does. So unless we get a 5 color energy commander or proliferating commander soon, Atraxa is the one. Giving you 1 additional energy every single rotation is great. If you want more, run some more proliferators. But I really wanted to focus on the energy counters themselves. So there are a few less desirable cards. Ooh, excuse me. But they're interesting in my opinion. And that's what I wanted. I wanted an interesting energy deck. This has the payoffs. It's fun. Take a look. Enjoy. Playing with energy. Peace.